Welcome back to the channel. I wanted to kind of jump on this and talk about this because this looks like, to be honest, a little bit of an intriguing idea if handled properly. WWE have launched a new independent wrestling development program called WWE ID. Initial looking at this though, it does kind of smell and smack like um, reality TV show or WWE looking for content for either their social media pages or maybe even the WWE network, especially obviously when it hits Netflix in January next year. I'm going to read through the statement, a couple of pages, but I'm going to read through the statement that has been put up on WWE.com under the headline WWE launches new indie wrestling development program, dated October 29th, 2024. Again, it kind of smacks of reality TV show mixed with WWE wanting to make content for it. I'll give my thoughts as we go through this statement, but it does kind of seem like WWE, although it could be good for the independent, for some independent stars. I think this is potentially not as good for the independent wrestling scene as I think WWE might make it out to be, but if it gives somebody a chance, we'll see. So let's go through this statement, this press release kind of thing on WWE.com, which states the following. WWE today announced the launch of a first of its kind developmental program designed to provide up and coming independent wrestlers a pathway to a potential career in WWE. The program will be called WWE ID, short for WWE Independent Development. WWE ID is the latest in our efforts to identify and support the journey of up and coming wrestlers, in turn raising the profile of and strengthening the independent wrestling ecosystem. That statement's from said WWE Chief Content Officer Paul Triple H Levesque. Yeah, well, to be honest, WWE, we all know WWE have the history of picking and choosing individuals from the independent wrestling scene, whether it be in the 70s and 80s, picking Hogan and Junkyard Dog and various different individuals for many of their making them stars, obviously for their own use. WWE have long had a history of doing that. We don't even need to go that far back to NXT UK. That was a few years ago, and sadly that didn't last. But WWE went across the UK scene and they would pick out various different individuals who would actually be some of the bigger names in the UK wrestling scene. The Coffee Brothers, Wolfgang, um, Piper Niven, Shah Samuels, people like that who were, Pete Dunne, others like that who were real wrestling right around the country and actually helping various different wrestling companies, obviously being a big draw for them. And WWE kind of took them away in many cases from those kind of companies. So if that's what WWE are looking to do in this situation, I don't think it'll too strengthen the ecosystem of independent wrestlers. If you've got an independent company and you've obviously helped at least in some degree progress and evolve a decent talent, for WWE to come in and suddenly take that talent away, yeah, that's not going to help your promotion. The statement continues stating the following. Following the 2021 launch of WWE's NIL program, the Next in Line program, that is, by the way, the one where they recruit collegiate athletes. WEID has been constructed to support independent wrestling prospects and wrestling schools with world class training, development, and mentorship. Under the program, WWE will provide prominent independent wrestling schools with the WWE ID official designation, with the goal of providing the new trainees and existing talent at these select institutions with enhanced development opportunities. Booker T's Reality of Wrestling, Houston, Cody Rhodes' Nightmare Factory, Atlanta, Seth Rollins' Black and Brave Academy, Davenport, Iowa, Elite Pro Wrestling Training Center, Concord, is it New Hampshire? It says Concord, NH, and Knox X Pro Academy, Los Angeles, are the first WBID independent wrestling schools to earn the official designation. There, again, is kind of really an in-house thing, first of all. Booker T's Reality of Wrestling, Cody Rhodes' Nightmare Factory, and Seth Rollins' Black and Brave Academy. Certainly, I don't know who owns Elite Pro Wrestling Training Center, or Knox X, or however it's pronounced, Pro Academy in Los Angeles. It certainly seems to be an in-house thing. Obviously, you've got the relationship with WWE. To be honest, first of all, I will say I don't blame kind of WWE for picking initially, at least schools like that. You know, it, it's different. I always say, you know, from picking, if you're somewhere like, for example, if you're taking management of somewhere, it's completely different to pick and choose individuals to come on board that you know that you can rely on, that will help you manage that business or whatever job it is, to just jobs for the people that you know. I would say jobs for the boys, basically. It's a completely different situation. So I kind of hope that in this situation it is really just bringing on their first initial schools that they know, that are quality schools that they can trust. I heard good things about Booker T's Reality of Wrestling, Cody Rhodes' Nightmare Factory, and Seth Rollins' Black and Brave Academy. We've heard, I personally have heard good things about those places. So hopefully, as I know, it's WWE involved people, of course. Booker T is former world champion, NXT commentator, Cody Rhodes, obviously, and Seth Rollins. We know they're in WWE. No, we are. They are WWE superstars. We know that. So, hopefully, these are facilities that know they WWE know can provide them with quality and properly trained individuals. That's again something I'll get to, but the WWE are obviously looking to get people that they can train and that are coachable. If you look at the tryouts, you hear likes of William Regal talk about them. There's a couple of clips on, was it WWE, even whether it's WWE's YouTube channel or WWE Vault YouTube channel. There's a couple of bits about tryouts, and I think it is William Regal and Matt Bloom, formerly Albert, who talk about in those about they're looking for people who are coachable. Obviously, WWE have their own way of doing things, their own style of wrestling, and the way that they prefer to do things. So they want to be able to coach people in how to do things. And even I've heard of legitimately individuals like Big Damo, I think it was. I used to know him, kind of do still know him, but you kind of know him from the Scottish wrestling scene. And Big Damo and the other few others have said about, you know, obviously in independent wrestling, you're just working for the crowd. In likes of WWE, there's cameras there, and the hard camera side, you know, got to know where that is. You've got to know where the cameras are because it is, although there is live crowds, it is also a television show. So it is a much different way of doing things. Again, I'm not got the experience at all, obviously. of doing anything like that, but it is very much a different experience of working to the cameras rather than just working a live audience. Um, um, so that is certainly, hopefully, WWE again just started first of all with schools that they know and they can trust. The last part of the statement says, additionally, WWE ID will identify top independent wrestling prospects with an official WWE ID prospect designation and support their developmental journey by providing financial opportunity and assisting with training, mentorship, and development, including access to world-class facilities, best in best in class ring training, athletic trainers, and more. WEID will give fans the opportunity to follow the paths of these standout prospects on the independent wrestling scene through curated behind the scenes content, as well as highlights and matches showcased across WWE's social platforms. And it says to learn more about WEID and WWE's recruitment process, please visit recruit.wwe.com. So that's basically the statement. And there's a couple of things again. First of all, I would that's how kind of encouraging that. First of all, again, it smacks of yes, it smacks of content. I can't remember what the word is, uh, but it kind of kind of smells like content farming. I think it's called. They're trying to do this and try and act like it's a genuine program when it's kind of really aiming towards content for the social media and WWE network. So it does kind of smack like that. But something I will say about this, first of all, they talk about financial opportunities for those prospects. And again, hopefully, it is people who are fully deserving because there are many individuals out there who have been fully deserving of opportunities that may have not have got them. I know WWE have many tryouts, and again, sticking with the Scottish experience of wrestling scene, here, we've seen people like the Coffee Brothers and even Nikki Cross do several tryouts and things before they even get signed, and they're like some of the were the top some of the top talents in the UK and Scotland certainly. Nikki was always a little bit head and shoulders above most of the other women in Scotland. No offence to them, it was just simply the case, and we've seen it how that she has worked for WWE now for several years. So, firstly, financially supporting these prospects, I think, would be an excellent thing. WWE contracts over the years have not been the greatest in terms of developmental contracts. Some of them being, over the years, we've heard about being paid very little money. And obviously, they're expected, again, just like WWE superstars, to make their own way to various different shows that, whatever the development brand is that they're assigned to, they've got their own bills to pay and everything like that. Because there used to be ones across the country, like Memphis, Los Angeles, and a couple other places in the United States, where if WWE signed you under a developmental contract, you would be assigned one of those areas, one of those facility, one of the kind of promotions anyway, and you'd be sent to Ohio or Memphis or various different places. And I think financially, if you're going to help the prospect, that's great, obviously, because, well, first of all, that prospect can, if hopefully in a decent amount of money, because it's like a lot of people, if you're not having to worry about how to pay your bills that month, then a lot of independent wrestlers do, even if they're trying to do it full time. Uh, you know, or even if they're not, and if they're maybe the pay is not great, you still worry about paying your bills that month. Having trying to do as much hours as you can in your real life job, but then wrestling these various different dates at the weekends and when you can. Um, to also perhaps try and again further your wrestling career. Maybe a company like WWE or AEW or whoever will actually maybe take a liking to you and maybe sign you up somehow, and you can again maybe leave the day job behind and concentrate on wrestling. So if they are genuinely going to honestly financially support or help financially support these prospects, that'll be a great thing again, leaving them worry free, hopefully, to be able to concentrate in developing their skills and talents so that FWE, because there probably will be one or two who will undergo this process and it won't work out for them, and they'll maybe end up, I don't know, quitting wrestling or just going back to the independent scene. If they can at least develop their skills and talents, then maybe if it doesn't work out for them with this, with WWE, then maybe at least they can get opportunities and obviously the publicity around it. They may get opportunities to wrestle in various places, whether that even means that they end up actually being a full time wrestler or just being able to go to various different promotions across their home territory, country, whatever. Another thing about this as well is about the WEID. Uh, Let me look on the how the ID designation. That's what it's called. The designation. Now that also seems to apply to the training school, which is something again that immediately jumps into my mind. They'll have the prospect there. Let's even say it's one of these training schools that has a prospect there. Does that mean that there are limitations of what that promotion or what our training school can do if they run shows? Does that mean that anybody involved in that training school can't, if AEW or Pro Wrestling Noah right now? Um, there's again a Scottish guy that I saw at the start of his career. Not too much, unfortunately, because of the stupid storyline that was going on in that local promotion at the time that I used to go to, a guy called Jack Morris. He's working now out in Japan with Noah, with Pro Wrestling Noah. So if a prospect comes, if even somebody involved in that company, such an opportunity comes up, does that mean that WWE will try and stop that kind of thing of happening? I don't know. Obviously, I'm sure they wouldn't be able to because if you're not signed up with this prospect thing, if you're not somebody under WWE contract, they can't really do anything about you. But can it also limit again these training schools or the running shows? I know Booker T's Reality of Wrestling runs shows. I'm not sure about the Nightmare Factory, but if these kind of promotions, if WWE was to extend it, I mean, will we see a WEID designation designated school in the UK, in somewhere in France or Germany or Australia or New Zealand or Canada, or if WWE even extends this, does that limit the promotion from what they can do? From bringing in any fly-ins that are maybe again associated with AEW or some other company that may have a presence online or a television deal or something, does that kind of handcuff that promotion just a little? That's a little bit of a concern of mine. Immediate thoughts come into mind at least. This again, my initial thoughts, my initial statements on this. Could it potentially stop them, even bringing in an older wrestler again, like Jake Roberts or whoever, that and hopefully they'll be paid, but will it prevent them coming bringing in such a legend or somebody associated with such a school? And I know they've been signing up more legends again like Diamond Dallas Page and Jackie Moore and a few others. They've been signing two legend contracts again, maybe to stop that happening. Um, but will this promotion kind of be handcuffed a little bit? I think ICW in Scotland may have been handcuffed a little bit when they had the deal with WWE. Yes, they had Triple H appear and Pete Dunne on a couple of shows and Finn Balor as well. Uh, but will they be handcuffed a little bit into what they're able to do? Um, and will WWE be telling them what they can do as well? So there's going to be pros and cons for any wrestling school if again WWE and when WWE I'm sure will look to extend this designation access thing, to again look into the UK, and we've never really ever heard anything about NXT Europe, so I'm kind of guessing that's potentially abandoned for now, at least on. Um, well, yeah, there's going to be pros and cons basically for any such school that is approached to be a part of this. Again, in whatever country it is, if WWE decides to expand it outside the United States, so it's something. It's an interesting again and an intriguing prospect. I kind of think that again, call me not optimistic, but call me you know, whatever. But I think that this is potentially something that WWE are wanting to do to try and again kind of pursue independent prospects to maybe pursue some of the decent talent on the independent scene right now for themselves. So maybe I'm a half glass half empty, pessimistic kind of person on this, maybe, but I don't know. It kind of smacks and smells a little bit of they want to try and raid independent wrestling again and try and take some of the top talent for themselves. Again, it kind of smells like that. But again, I will say, final initial kind of thoughts on this. That if it does work out for somebody, if this is not just them going to go, okay, we're going to go around and we're going to pick out the Dragon Lees, the Joe Hendrys, and the Jordan Graces, and if they really are not going to pick like the top independent talent, and I think Jordan Grace and Joe Hendry are WWE bound very shortly. I think that's obvious, and they'd be fools not to go. Joe Hendry, especially, I followed him since basically the start of his career. Made a previous video on that, and so I'm hoping that WWE will look kind of in slightly deeper in and give opportunities to people who are not maybe the completely obvious choice, that again may be fully deserving of an opportunity to work with WWE and potentially become a WWE superstar. So again, it sounds like it's a WWE thing. I don't think it is going to strengthen like a typical WWE um, thing. I don't think it's going to really strengthen the independent wrestling ecosystem. To be honest, a lot of fans know that the independent wrestling is there. I mean, if it should again as well, you know, again I know I said last thoughts, but yes, if it gives some a deserving wrestler, an independent wrestler, an opportunity to work their asses off to do it to get to where they are, and if they are someone who really is fully deserving and worthy of the opportunity and will take this opportunity and treat it as it should be treated and eagerly go after it and behave and take the chance, see whether they can become maybe the next big WWE superstar or make it to the roster and make good money and be able to live their life and whatever and have their dream come true, then that's fine. And also, if it is able, again, if they extend it and it's able to shine a light on a a couple of a few wrestling promotions that especially in the UK, a lot of the English ones get a lot of spotlight, and there are other promotions that don't get as much spotlight who maybe deserve it. Some of them just there's always like one or two typical UK promotions that get mentioned and things like this, and I'm sure people will mention, oh, well, this guy from this promotion, and it could be probably one of the main promotions in the UK or one of the most ones that are most publicised. So that would be good as well if it can spotlight a few independent wrestling promotions where maybe some of these people who are even potential prospects who maybe not even be eventually chosen. How it doesn't say also however many that they're going to follow. It doesn't say that. It doesn't say how many wrestlers will this opportunity be given to. Again, I think it might be just a few because I think they'll want again. Looks like as it says, follow them. You'll be able to follow them through curated behind the scenes content. So it might just be a few of them. But again, if it gives some of them opportunities and opportunities be for various different local promotions to be spotlighted, that could only be a good thing. But yeah, this is kind of more about again typical with the WWE style kind of WWE kind of thing. This is really more about them looking for talent than anything else. And again, call me pessimistic, but yeah, this is more about WWE looking for talent, I think, rather than anything else. But I think it could be a good thing to watch. It might actually be good to watch some of these prospects take their journey. And I've seen it myself locally here in Tayside area and Perth and Dundee. You know, friends of mine who young kids watch local wrestling and are now a big part of a local company, and they're pursuing their dream of wrestling on shows and being a part of the shows and stuff. So again, I suppose it kind of comes back to um, if it inspires people, I suppose to again even just pursue training with a local wrestling promotion that's a good wrestling promotion because there are honestly promotions that I can immediately think of that I do not think are well, any deserving of any opportunity and shouldn't be anywhere near this. But again, we'll see. And again, this is more about a WWE finding talent deal. But again, if it is able to spotlight the right people, then maybe it could be a good thing. But we'll wait and see what kind of content and what kind of form this eventually turns out to be in.